Okay, welcome in the next exercise. For this exercise, you need just a large piece of paper, a pencil, potentially some different colors, and if you like, you can also do it with post-its. Feel free to start the exercise and to redo it again. It's a little bit of a progress, so don't feel stressed out if it doesn't work out the first time. The main clue for this exercise is that you think about your job and your task and you reflect about how they impact your job and how your energizers and your burdens match with them. So in the next step, we can craft the right tasks. So the first thing you do is you think about different roles. Most people in their job have different roles. That can be like, I'm an administrator, but I'm also a mentor of some sort, or you are a leader, but you also have to take up some other tasks and do like more production work. People have different types of roles. I'll give you the example of my job as a trainer and a coach, so you can get a feeling what it could be like for you. So for me, my job consists of three roles. First, I'm a trainer and a coach. That's like the main part of my job. But beside that, I also organize other trainings with other teachers. And well, that involves planning, and I have to make sure everyone gets there, they're the right resources. And lastly, I'm also a project leader. So sometimes there's like a project in the organization which I will have to do. So for a trainer job, there are three main things. The main part is teaching a little bit less, a little bit smaller. See the similarity with the first exercise with the large and the smaller tasks is coaching, and a little bit smaller, it takes up less time, is learning new things to do in my teachings and my coachings. Besides that, I also have to prepare. That's rather similar when I teach myself or when I prepare for someone else to teach. And I have to develop tools, which I also can use in the projects I do, but I also use in my trainings. So as an organizer, there's a lot of like content preparation, but there's also the organizing itself, setting dates for the right training, changing that, if there are new students who want to enroll, but there's also a large part administration. There are some other people who help me with that, but still I have to do my own administration and sometimes help them. And there are a lot of meetings with the trainers that come to teach. As project leader, well, it's a little bit more simple, and I have to develop content and the projects, but there's also a large amount of time which I have to be in meetings with my coworkers. So that's the first step, and you can do it right after the video, but I will take you now through the steps for the further exercise. But just a piece of paper. The most easy thing I found is to take some post-its, rip them apart so you can have like smaller post-its and larger post-its, where the larger post-it describe it's a large task. It takes up a lot of time, where the smaller post-its are at, but you can also just draw like squares or circles. It doesn't matter what you do. It's about the exercise and about visualizing how your tasks are organized. So the next step is that we take your personal profile into this overview. And for each task, you will label or categorize what kind of energizer or burdens are really important for that tasks. So when we go crafting, you can look at it and see, okay, this is an important task that I have to change. So for me, that will be like learning. I'm really interested in learning new things. So that's like a strength of that. It's a good task. For teaching, I think it is in my strength, and I really enjoy the interaction with other people. That's one of my needs, that I have to interact with different people. But sometimes it's also a burden, because it's our long days. You start early because you want to prepare, everything has to be right, and at the end of the session people have questions. Sometimes I have to drive to other locations to teach. So physically I'm really exhausted by it, and it tires me, and it's not like a mental or a cognitive thing, but it's just long days, working hours, mostly standing up, walking around, talking. So that's one thing I've noticed. If I have to teach 2-3 days a week, that's really hard to teach full days. Coaching, it's rather similar. but there's also, or instead of a physical demand, there's an emotional demand, because people really come with a problem, something they want to get solved, and you don't always have the ability or the possibilities to help them the way you want to, because you cannot change things for them. And well, you think about that, and it's emotionally really a little bit of a burden. I'll take some other example. Administration. It's not my strong suit. For my own administration, I skip it or I procrastinate. But I really enjoy helping others. I said before. And when someone else asks me, "Hey, I need some help. Can you help me with this?" I don't find it that bad. So there's like sometimes a bright side on it. Another example is like with the meetings. Usually I enjoy interaction with others. I really need it. But these meetings, there are too much meetings. You've seen it. There's more time on meetings than on really developing the project. So that can be hard and demanding. So that's, for me, that's rather negative. And then you have some other things. And you see clearly now that some tasks are really enjoyable. They only have positive aspects, but other types have some negative aspects as well. And then you'll see another type of task where there's nothing. There's nothing energizing about it, but there's also nothing bad about it. These are like the neutral tasks. And what we want to do when we start crafting is that we look at how can we soften the burdens, how can we increase the energizers, and look maybe at some of the tasks who have neither a burden nor an energizer, how we can add something like that, like a good interaction or maybe a strength or an interest. Now the next step, because you have listed a lot of energizers, and probably they won't all be in your schedule. And for me, one thing that I'm really interested in is like I want to build expertise, and I still have some time to learn, but that's not enough to really build expertise. So that's something I'm really interested in, and it's not currently available in my job. And then the other thing which means to interest, but it also can be a need or a strength, is that I'm really interested in working with numbers, and I have a really social job right now, which I really like. But sometimes I just like going into Excel or into a statistic program and checking the numbers. So that's something I'm really interested in and I can't find in my job right now. So that's like an overview of my job. I suggest you take a piece of paper, take like 15 minutes to try to make something like this for your own job. So what do? You just take a large piece of paper. First, you describe 2 or 3 roles. If these roles are described, just try to make circles, make a little overlap between the circles so you can put tasks in between them. You assign each task to one role, possibly 2 roles, and then you label each task with energizers and burdens. Lastly, you write down unfulfilled strengths, needs, and interests in the end. And then you will have a large and nice overview of your job and which tasks are energizing and which are not. And then in the next exercise, we will go into how you can craft these exercises. Good luck.